Hey guys, so I wanted to show you the difference between a lapel that is pad stitched and one that isn't, just so you can see exactly what the result of the pad stitching is. So this one has been pad stitched. As you can see, it's laying really nicely, and if I turn the lapel over, there's a ridge where the roll has formed. So if I flop it back, it goes back into position perfectly. Oops. Ooh, sorry. And then if I flip it over this way, it's the same thing. You can see where that roll line has been formed with my pad stitching. So that is the goal of pad stitching, is to make this beautifully rolled roll line on your lapel that keeps its shape and is never going to be flapping around. So let me show you the one that hasn't been pad stitched, just so you can see the difference. Here it is. If I fold this one open, it doesn't immediately go to the roll line. See, like down here, it's kind of confused about what to do. So that's really what it does. It's this one, you'll see on the back, it's just kind of, it's not firm, it's loose, it doesn't have any shaping to it yet. So yeah, and it just flops around really easily. So that's why we do the pad stitching. It's really kind of magical, and let me show you how that works. So I have marked my lines for pad stitching, and the first one is on the roll line at the bottom, and then the next one is 1/8 of an inch away. You start 1/8 of an inch away from each other on these lines, and then you go bigger in the middle. These are 1/4 inch away from each other, and then at the edge of the lapel you go back to 1/8 of an inch. So I'm doing 2 rows of 1/8 of an inch apart, and then the rest are 1/4 inch, and then these last like 4 are 1/8 of an inch apart. I marked mine with Sharpie so you could see it, but you know, chalk works just fine. So here's what you do. I've got my needle and thread. This is silk thread. I ran it through some beeswax. Now what you do is you have to manipulate the fabric as you pad stitch. So you are actually forming the roll line with your fingers. So I'm putting one finger underneath the roll line and holding it there and forming that roll line with my finger. Now I'm going to start pad stitching. Oh, one thing I'm trying to do now, this is my resolution, is to make my lines neater. So I'm starting the knot underneath the canvas so that we can't see the knot on the outside, but that's just my anal little thing I'm doing. So a pad stitch just looks like this. I'm holding the needle straight up and down. I'm going to take a little stitch 1/8 of an inch away, because we're starting out with 1/8 of an inch wide, 1/8 of an inch long. And I'm just going to grab a little bit of that fabric below there, go through the canvas, and pull it. It's just like a diagonal basting stitch, if you've ever done one of those, except very, very tiny. Keep forming that roll line as you go. It's easy to get lazy about that, but that's the most important thing to do as you're pad stitching. Because without the shaping, it's just basting. So can you see what I'm doing there? The most important thing is when you get to the end of this row, when I get down here, don't turn the fabric around. Just keep going back the same way, and that's how you form that chevron pattern. And let me show you on this one. So see how the little pad stitches point in towards each other, like chevrons? And that's all it is. These are my tiny ones near the roll line. These are the bigger 1/4 inch, and then here are my tiny ones again. And see these messy knots? That's kind of what I'm trying to eliminate on this new one. But, you know, it's going to be inside the coat, so no reason to really be too fussy about it. So, yeah, you can see where I shaped it with the roll line over my hand here. You can also just hold it like this if it gets too cumbersome to keep your hand under there. But don't make the crease too sharp. That's something you really want to guard against, because it's supposed to be a soft roll. Alright, I think that's it, guys. This is what the finished piece is going to look like. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, and I'll get to pressing next in some photographs. Bye!